I know you're going to be able to feel me on this one. Our medical system is so confusing. Half the time, you're not sure where to go first or who to trust. I have a story to tell you about this.
The goal here is to learn how to treat your mind and body like a professional athlete. Welcome to Mind Your Body. I'm Dr. Audra Lance. I'm a doctor of chiropractic who specializes in treating sports and non-surgical injuries. Anything that involves muscles and joints. I treat big-name celebrities and professional athletes. Most of my patients refer to me as the witch doctor because they can't explain any other way their pain was removed that quickly. I hate cooking, but I do love wine and don't even think about giving me anything that involves ketchup because I will not eat it. Every episode of this show is designed to help you move better, live better, and feel better. Now let's go do this thing.
Good morning. I had to get on and record this because I was having my coffee this morning. And as I was getting jacked up, this story came to me. And I just was like, I need to share this with y'all. There are so many different alleys we can go down, and we'll make multiple episodes down the road about, our medical system, where to go first. But I just wanted to share this one story and talk about it a little bit. A few years ago, I had a patient come in, and we laugh and joke, before we get started. And then I'm telling, all right, tell me the scoop. Why are you here? And they just start crying. A grown man just started bawling. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I say something wrong? He was laughing at that joke. You're just like, oh no, did I already mess this up? And so we just took a couple minutes and just sat there. And he goes, well, I had numbness and tingling in my hands for years. And I just got carpal tunnel surgery. And a side note, that's where they release the ligament in your hand to help free up all that pressure. And he's like, I was banking on this. I need my hands for my job. It didn't work. And he starts crying again. He's like, it is still there. I went through all this. He's like, I even did the rehab. So many people. I was just with a family member this weekend we're getting in a different lane. We're changing lanes without signaling. They ended up getting a hip replacement. And I was like, great. Okay. They live in a different state. You're getting started with PT. Do you need help finding someone? And he looks at me. He's like, nah, I'm going to rake leaves. And I was like, what? He's like, I do all these movements with raking leaves. I don't need PT. And I was like, well, I'm so glad you're raking leaves and getting movement, but we need to do PT. There's so much post-surgical that you need to address, including scar tissue, not only just movements, but then also strength and mobility. So that is how I know a lot of people out there think that they are just like, nah, I don't need it. I feel good. I feel better after the surgery. We're just going to pump along. We're going to skip the rehab. Well, let's put our blinker on, go back in the other lane. This guy was like, I even did it and I didn't want to. And he's like, I showed up for every appointment, did my homework, it's still there. So this is just this happens, unfortunately. And I know there's a lot of other stories out there like this. You put your eggs in one basket, you're so pumped, and then it fails. So my first question to him was, okay, what the other doctor's opinions say when you got multiple opinions? And I probably use better English than that, but listen, English is my worst subject. And I can't believe I'm doing a podcast, because when I told my husband I was going to do this podcast, he goes, you're going to freestyle talking? I know. So who knows? It's just, my mind is like Vegas, and sometimes my words get jumbled before they come out of my mouth. And of course, I self-diagnosed myself with a brain tumor. But so that's why this is also going to be so fun, because you never know what words and stories are just going to ramble about. And back in the other lane, he was like, what do you mean? I had this pain in my wrist for so long. I got in with a surgeon, great surgeon. And yeah, he told me this is what I needed. This is another aspect I wish, and I'm trying to put out there now, that more people were aware of. You need to get multiple opinions. I don't care if it's the best surgeon in the whole world. And that's great that you're able to go there and do that. But you need also more opinions if possible, because doctors aren't perfect. We don't know everything. I know that's soul crushing to hear. But we're humans too. Just like athletes and celebrities, we poop. We also have things going on in our own life sometimes that unfortunately can distract us. And everyone goes into it with the best intentions, wanting to help people. But what we may think in that moment and from our exam findings may not be what another doctor sees. And that's why it's so cool to have multiple eyes. Think of it as a gift to have multiple eyes on your case. And it's even better when they can talk and work as a team, which I highly, recommend. Giving your doctors each other's emails, numbers, facts, whatever, and being like, hey, can you all communicate together? And this includes anything from rehab to massage to therapy to nutrition. I do that a lot in my practice, and it just makes the whole experience for the patient and the results for the patient so much better. Especially if you're going to get cut on. We need to have multiple surgeons' opinions. Now, unless this is an emergency situation, which there are so many of those, and sometimes you just got to go with it. And when you're at these doctors, you are who advocates for yourself. Yes, you need to value their opinion, and they went to school, and yes, I know they know more than you in this area, but also you have a gut feeling about people. You have a gut feeling about, when someone tells you should do something, you need to sit there and process that. And you need to ask questions. That's up to you. That responsibility is on you, not the doctor. We can't read minds. Like my husband tells me that too, but I feel like you should. But unless you ask a question or tell us you're concerned about something, we can't read your mind. And that's not our fault. Because you have to take ownership in your encounter, in your appointment, in your body. This also, I think, applies to so many other things besides just surgery. Any new IVs you want to do, any vaccines you want to take, any pills you want, anything you put in your body, including supplements, ask the questions, do research, ask multiple people. You got to advocate for yourself in this healthcare world. But I'm going to say it again. Doctors have the best intentions and everyone wants to help you. But you need to take a little ownership. It's your body. You only get one of them. Okay? I hope this is pumping you up, not making you feel bad. But just something to think about. And think about it with your family, with your kids. And nothing has to be adversarial, but you can ask questions and be prepared for this. I say this all the time when I get asked questions. If I don't know the answer, you know what I say? I don't know, but I'm going to find out or connect you with someone that does. That's okay too. I don't know everything. I've had multiple times in practice where people have asked me dermatology questions, and we had I think it was like 1 credit hour dermatology class in school. The whole time I did not listen. I was studying like my sports and non-surgical injury stuff. Like that's what fuels me. And please don't ask me a dermatology question. I have no idea. There are people who specialize in that and go to school only for that. That's where you need to go. Now, can I tell you if something looks weird or feels weird? Absolutely. And I'll connect you with some good dermatologists. But remember, we can't know everything. And it's okay if the doctor says they don't know, but if they're going to figure it out or connect you with someone that does, yay. Awesome. Then you have your eyes looking for answers. They're looking for answers. They're probably talking to other doctor colleagues looking for answers. I mean, the more the better. But yeah, I mean, you only have one body. You need to take care of it. And sometimes I get the pushback when I'm like, let's get multiple opinions, even with what we're doing. Like, cool, let's go get multiple opinions. They're like, well, that's going to cost a lot of money. And then, work and time, which I totally understand and respect. But here's the thing. You only get one body. And if there's anything you're going to spend money on, it is your health. If there's anything you're going to go in debt for, it should be your health, in my opinion. Because, do you want to be sick and tired and feel like hell? Or even worst case scenario, not be here? You like how I'm saying? Let's just reframe how we go to our doctor's appointments. We can ask questions. We can get multiple opinions. And we can advocate for ourselves. So let's go back to this guy. We went through full history, owned his own contracting business. So used his hands, did a lot of the work himself with, his employees, high-end houses and everything else. And did a whole functional exam. Turns out it wasn't true carpal tunnel. It was a problem in his neck, referring the pain down into his wrist and hands. But he didn't have a linear pattern of it going directly down from his neck through his arm into his hand. So that's why it was also confusing. So, I get while this could have looked like a cut and dry carpal tunnel case. Absolutely. But underneath, we had to dig to figure out the exact root cause. So luckily, we were able to get that to calm down, look at the compensation patterns. We needed to do some shoulder activation, some deep neck flexor stuff, along with a little bit of mobility. And then, of course, my favorite, breathing. What do you think I cued? Yes. Going to nasal breathe. And as you inhale, you're going to breathe into your butthole. Gosh, I crack myself up some days. And he's been good to go ever since. And his business is thriving. He's happy. He's able to do what he wants to do. Meanwhile, we had to work on the scar tissue from the surgery. That's another key point. Anytime you get cut, or even if you fall and have a cut, you give birth and you have that scar tissue down there. If you have an episiotomy or if you rip or nothing, C-sections, surgery incisions, plastic surgery cuts, all the things, they all need scar tissue work. That is crucial. So we provided that for him, and luckily we were able to help him. So that was pretty exciting, and I wanted to share that with you today. I know you may be listening and you're like, oh shit, I have some of this. I'm experiencing either some hand pain, some forearm pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. But I don't really have time to schedule an appointment with anyone or research who to go to or go to the doctor to try to figure this out. But it's starting to get annoying, and it's either getting worse or staying the same. I also don't have time nor know what to type into the Google face on the interwebs and what to do, which guess what? That's why I created the Carpal Tunnel Game Plan. It's for you to go on and buy right now, and you can watch some short videos and start working through figuring out which exercise is best for you that's going to give you some relief. It's seriously gold. We all are busy. We all don't have time. And I'm trying to take away some of those excuses of why you can't help yourself. So go to mytrainingroom.co. The link will be in the show notes, and buy yourself the Game Plan Carpal Tunnel. Now, if you want to do something really special for me and got a lot out of this episode, go leave a 5-star written review of the show on Apple Podcast. And if you're a Spotify listener, just tap the 5 stars. To submit any of your health questions to the show, simply DM me on Instagram at Dr. Audra Lance. And don't worry, all your questions will be kept strictly anonymous. So send me all your embarrassing questions. And don't forget, breathe into your butthole. Toodaloo!